During our most recent cold snap here in the Pacific Northwest, I wasn't able to drive my Corolla for Uber and Lyft anymore, so I decided for a couple days to try out recovering different vehicles in ditches with the Land Cruiser. I recovered that Lincoln Navigator with my winch, but then quickly found this 80,000-pound semi, which was up a 6% grade off-ramp and stuck in the snow. So I figured, why not? Let's try and see if we can pull him out.
A little bit it is. Is he spinning? Is he spinning?
At this point, you can see that my center differential wasn't working. The light wasn't coming on in the dash, and I soon realized when I got home that it wasn't plugged in. After the swap, there's like 5 sensors to plug in, and I just forgot to plug it in. So that's why I'm in front-wheel drive some of the time.
It's gonna be dangerous to back him down that.
The local residents heard us struggling from down the road and decided to see if he could come help in his brand new 6.7 Super Duty F250. Ended up daisy chaining off of us, and even with that, we still couldn't get the thing moving. We were getting it moved just a few inches every time, but then it would fall back every time, so. All right, so we're back looking at Mitchell's cruiser, which has undergone a lot more since we saw it last. So the engine obviously is in the cruiser, and there's quite a few additions, which are a lot different than mine, which is why I wanted to kind of show the contrast. So, yeah, he's got an extra battery here. Dual battery kit is probably a really good idea for this, because cold starts, if you don't have your grid heater, it's nice to have an extra battery. So. But as far as right now, he's bleeding the hydro boost system. So if you guys want to kind of explain what the hydro boost is, because I don't have that on mine, so it's kind of foreign to me.
Instead of using vacuum, it's using the power steering pump to assist in the brakes.
So the vacuum pump that I have is different than what he has down here. It's a shorter version. It's not a kit you can buy, right? You have to piece it together.
No, you can buy a kit. There is one you can use, the Toyota one. I think that's what you used, right?
Yeah. So the one I got's from Power Brake Service down in California.
Super not affordable.
But that's right. But that's the Dodge Hydro Boost, and we just utilized it.
Yeah.
So they
made a plate.
Okay, so he took the apparatus from the Dodge and then made a plate going to the firewall here that goes into your brake pedal.
Same template as the Toyota one.
Okay.
Just used a plate with the same template and then bolted that, to the plate. And then there's we had to cut a shaft to go to the stock Toyota pedal.
Not too dissimilar from like if you were doing something with your clutch, you just need to get in that. So, and then
just a universal Willwood master cylinder there.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. And then they've made all their own AN lines, and that's what they're doing now, is bleeding the brakes and bleeding the power steering.
After blowing a line.
Yeah. Yeah, we just blew some coolant, or not coolant, ATF everywhere. So it looks like they've gotten rid of the fusible link, or made their own.
It's going to be a fuse box.
Yeah,
that's
a temporary while we were wiring everything else.
Okay, yeah. Pretty much just business as usual as far as the engine itself. Is there anything special or anything unique you ran into? Anything that comes to mind if somebody's looking at buying all the parts that you have and looking to do this swap themselves?
Make sure you cut your spring tower.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's an issue that I've been having. So it's going to be hard to see. There's a U-joint right here. That was contacting my spring tower, which I briefly mentioned, but yeah, if depending on what kit you have, the clearance with the steering box spacer is going to, and if you're not using a body lift, is going to cause issues with contacting that's the steering shaft. But while the engine's out, or while you have room down there, you can cut or grind away a portion of that steering tower or the strut tower. All right, so in the cab, similar to mine, except that you don't need a body lift. So he's doing his without a body lift. It's not necessary. Just a few more things you have to look at are space or move. So he's made his own kind of shelf for the transfer case shifter in a similar location to where mine was. His is actually a little bit further to the left, but it will work. So they're still working on all that, but he's got some cool additions as well. He's got the dual battery monitor system from Ironman, so he got that whole kit, and it fits nicely in the clock location. And he's finished up some of his wiring as well. You can see back up there is the Dakota digital box, so he's going to be tapping onto his signal from his alternator wire in order to gain access to that signal, and then use some sort of conversion. And then today he's just finishing getting all of his glow shift gauges, which I've been so lazy and haven't gotten mine working yet. That will happen soon. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. He's almost ready to give it the first drive, but we had a little mistake with a line being loose or something. So, but it's getting there. So there's a little update. If you have any questions, I'll I'll post his IG right here, or you can post them down in the comments. So another thing I've got going on are the fender flares for Tanya. So I have looked for 2 years and I haven't been able to find any until recently. I was able to find the whole set, almost the whole set anyways, fender flares, minus this one here, which is a Chinese replica. I checked and all of the, you know, mounting points of the hardware is the same as the other. The thing I'm going to run into is trying to find these. All the little bits for all of these unique holes. A lot of them are the same, and I'll post a picture here of a few of the different kits that this, again, I'll put the name of the website or the company, which is somewhere out east, that packages or has packaged before the full kit of hardware necessary in order to install rear quarter panel, rear door, and front. So anyways, these will be going on soon. I'm going to just go to Toyota and get all those part numbers from that company and have them ordered, as I would imagine a lot of them are here at their big warehouse in Portland. Another thing you need, obviously, when installing these are fender gaskets. You don't have to have them, but I mean, it's a good idea because it would look kind of wonky. I wanted to retain the white color because I just think it looks good, white on white. I don't know why. I've had 2 years to think about it, and I definitely wanted the white on white. I didn't want it to go black. Most of the gasket you see on Amazon, you can get for pretty cheap, but I don't like the contrast of the body lines with the black on white. Just me, just my personal opinion. Anyways, what I did is, obviously you'll need 6, because there's 6 fender flares gaskets, but I read somewhere, I think it was on Delta's website actually, that if you get this part number, I forget what he was saying to me exactly. I believe this one, oh yeah, duh, this one, I have 4 of these for the rear wheel, and that's that part number right there. And these are the longer ones, so this will actually work for the door. They didn't have the part number for the door, but it's the same thing, and this is longer, so you can just cut it, and that's what I think Delta recommends. Or Delta recommends, I think you can get 4 of these and then cut them in half, and the length will be sufficient. I am not sure on that, so don't quote me. But anyways, the point is those will be going on soon. Here's the very nice TIG welder that I bought from Harbor Freight for $800. So, having some issues with it. I tried to make a hood stack out of stainless steel, and as you can see, it looks just beautiful. I mean, this thing's great. You know, it does a great job here. I am completely shameless to show my welds. Those are just pitiful. This is very thin gauge stainless, so I picked like one of the thinnest gauges to try and start TIG welding on. This machine so far has been absolutely awesome. I figured out that I was actually on reverse polarity when I was doing this, and just was trying so hard to figure it out. And then, you know, you get frustrated, you take a break, and then you read online and you're like, oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. So anyways, I'm not sure if I'm going to use this method again of cutting out and then using that hole saw I used for the hood stack in order to make a hood stack. What I'll probably do is fabricate a brake I want to make for my Harbor Freight press with this extra piece of steel that I have lying around and some valve springs from the Cummins. I'll show you how I'm going to do that eventually once I get it kind of figured out. I'm not even going to waste time on trying to post videos about that. What I want to do is measure and cut off a piece of this stainless and then bend it 20, 30, whatever degrees like this is. So instead of having to cut each section out, since I don't have like the right material or the right tools in order to get this cut perfectly, and such thin gauge, it's just difficult. It's going to be difficult to make it look good. And tell you right now, I know my truck's pretty redneck, but that ain't going on there. It's not finished because I just gave up. But instead of welding it, I'm just going to bend it, and then I might torch it a little bit just to get that discoloration, which I really like. And it's stupid, I know, but it's better than just the exposed pipe. So a kind of review. I hate reviews. I think they're kind of cringe and they're usually way too long. Will be coming for that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.